What's happening, guys? I'm Curtis, and you're watching Left Foot First. Alright, this episode we are finally doing motor mounts. I went out and bought motor mounts. These are obviously not a motor mount to fit a SR20 into a tube frame chassis, but they'll work. They're actually a 1-inch engine lift for a Jeep TJ. So that's just what I found that works. So it's got like the tube and this kind of weird bracket thing that apparently bolts onto the standard spot. I don't know where it bolts. I don't have a Jeep TJ anymore. And then it's got the two half bushings and then a steel sleeve that goes through the middle of it. So the plan today is we're going to cut off this old scabby motor mount that we made the other day. Get that out of the way, and then I think we're going to take and cut the plates off of this tube. We're going to do that for two reasons. One of which is going to make it easier for it to fit in here, and then we're just going to weld onto the stock engine mounts on the motor. The other reason is these bushings, I don't know if you can see that, the tube is like 3/4 of an inch wider than the bushings need it to be. So I'm actually going to take this tube and cut some off of it so these bushings are like that. I don't want them to quite touch, but I want them to be real close. So we'll cut this off. So yeah, that's the first task. Get rid of that old scabby mount and then de-weld the tubes off of these mounting plates. Let's grab a grinder. In the process of trying to center the engine here so we can put our motor mounts in, ran into an issue caused mostly by my own laziness. There's a transmission rib that clearly you can see I've already marked it, and it's hitting up against this firewall bar. I have to file that transmission rib out to clearance it so I can push the motor over far enough to the driver's side without compromising my pedal box area. So I'm going to take a few moments now and file that out. Just in case there was any question of how tight the clearances were in here. Here's the little chunk I filed off. I'm obviously gonna have to clean that up once it's out of the car, but it'll work for now. Alright, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening here welding up some of these seams and getting it kind of finished off. I might grind some of these corners back a little bit, but that's all just production stuff. So I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning. And good morning. It's last night after I turned you guys off. I finished welding up this motor mount. I even took and built a little plate that goes over the top of it with some dimples in it. Welded that all up, and then welded in this first piece of the cross member. We're gonna run a cross member underneath the motor just to tie either side of the frame together a little bit better. So rather than getting started right away on the other side motor mount, first we're gonna pull everything out of the chassis, flip it over, and continue that cross member over. So first step today, flip this chassis over. And there we go. So before we flip the chassis all the way over, let's take a look at what I mean by the cross member. And right there you can see where I started the cross member, and then we're just gonna carry it on. There we go. So we had to cut another hole in the build table to let that cross member in, because we actually put that below the frame rail. So this build table is just slowly getting lighter, and the chassis is quite rapidly getting heavier. So it won't be long now before I can't pick this thing up on my own. But before we throw the motor in, we're actually going to build the other little stub piece of the cross member on the other side. Alright guys, that's all I got time for today. We got that plate cut. We got the front cross member in. When I was putting the motor back in, I dropped it on that cross member and broke the weld, so I'll have to re-weld that again one day, but not a big deal. The critical parts are these side ones, because that's where we're going to mount our motor to. So yeah, good progress. This might be the end of the episode. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.